Today on Tikifire Toy Reviews, Marvel Legends Kitty Pryde from the Giant Man series. Hello, Tikifire here with another Tikifire Toy Review. And today I'm reviewing a very cool figure. This is the Marvel Legends Kitty Pryde action figure from the Giant Man series made by Toybiz back in 2006. And Kitty Pryde is a really cool character. I always liked her growing up when I used to read the X-Men comic books back in the 80s. Really, I guess I started reading them late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. And she first appeared in January of 1980. And she was created by writer-artist John Byrne and Chris Claremont, according to Wikipedia. So, pretty cool. And she can phase through things. And she becomes intangible and can, like, kind of fade through stuff. It's kind of cool. And she was like the kid sister on the team, so to speak, back in the 80s. And slowly as she got older, they started writing her as a little bit more mature and that sort of thing. And she was no longer the kid sister and a little more take charge in her, young adulthood there. And in the films, she's been played by three different actresses. In X-Men back in 2000, she was played by Katie Stewart. X2, she was portrayed, or actually X-Men in 2000, she was portrayed by Samela Kay. Katie Stewart portrayed her in X2, and just those were bit parts. And finally in X-Men The Last Stand and X-Men Days of Future Past, she was played by Ellen Page. And I'm not sure if she's going to be in Age of Apocalypse or not. I haven't really heard. But if she is, I'm sure she'll be played by Ellen Page again. But, yeah. So, I always liked Kitty. I always thought she was a cool character. Yeah, she was kind of a... At the time when I was reading X-Men comics back in the day, I was an adolescent. I wasn't a teenager yet. And then I kept reading it on and off into my early teens. And always loved the character. I always thought she was a great addition to the team. She was kind of like, if you were a teenager reading about her being a teen with all these powers on this team of basically adults, it was kind of cool, and she was like your insert character for, the reader. So, kind of neat. Alright, let's take a look at the back of the package. And let's look at her story and her power grid up there. Alright, the power grid says Intelligence 4, Strength 2, Speed 2, Durability 3, Energy Projection none, Fighting Skills a 5. So yeah, she can phase. I'm not really sure on the fighting skills. I mean, she has been trained by the X-Men, so I guess she has pretty good fighting skills. I know Wolverine took her under his wing at one point and trained her some. And she's 5'6" tall. She weighs 132 pounds, has hazel eyes and brown hair. And there it says, for any normal 13-year-old, a headache could simply be the physical manifestation of the daily stresses of life, but for Kitty Pryde, a simple headache turned out to be the first sign of her emerging mutant abilities. Courted by both Professor X and Emma Frost to join their very different academies for mutants, Kitty chose to go with Professor X. Her achievement did not go unnoticed, and she soon joined the ranks of the X-Men as Shadowcat. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to cut her out of the package. Get some of these 9-year-old plastic fumes that we always get from the Toybiz figures. That's something I've noticed from these. Alright, so what do we got in the package? Well, we got this issue of Astonishing X-Men, issue number 4, written by Joss Whedon. Ah, how about that? Buffy and Avengers fame. Cool. And Firefly, of course. And in the comic, has a lot of the X-Men characters, but it also has a picture of Kitty. Here she's talking to Lockheed, her dragon, as she phases through the floor. That's kind of cool. Alright, you also get Giant Man's upper torso and head. Very cool. And this is what he looks like put together. Cool. Now, this clicked on pretty easily, but it's very loose. Not sure how loose that's actually supposed to be, but yeah. So now we have Giant Man, very tall with a loose torso. Go figure. Okay. And as I do more reviews, we're going to finish him off and we'll review him when I get done. Alright, so here is Kitty Pryde. And I tell you what, man, this is a great looking figure. Toybiz really did a great job on her. They could have gone the cheap route. They just made a Miss Marvel figure. They could have just reused that body. That's something Hasbro might have done. But they didn't do that. They actually made her a different sculpt altogether. And that's pretty cool. That's one thing I miss about the Toybiz figures. They would often do completely different sculpts for different characters. And that's kind of cool, I think. This really does look a lot like Kitty. I mean, it's got... The hairstyle is very similar to a lot of her appearances in the comics. And she's got Lockheed, her pet dragon. Now, Lockheed first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 166 back in February of 1983. The X-Men were fighting the Brood, a particularly brutal race of aliens who... They were the Marvel Comics version of the aliens, the xenomorphs from the Alien movies. Yeah. So, the Brood were the Marvel Comics version of the xenomorphs from the Alien movie series. They would basically impregnate you, but instead of ripping through your chest, they would just kind of turn into you. Yeah, their eggs would kind of turn into you. It was weird. But yeah, I'm surprised Marvel never really got sued or anything over that. But it was different enough, I guess they could get away with it. So, anyways, that's where Lockheed came from. He was an alien dragon. And very cool character. And he basically stays with Kitty pretty much all the time. All through the 80s, I know he did anyways. And I'm assuming he's still in some of the more modern ones, like the pack-in comic that came with her there. So, this is a very cool figure. I really like it. I really like the fact that it came with a Lockheed. It does have this little attachment. He does come off of the stand. I just stuck him on the stand to show him off. He does not move or anything. She has typical Toybiz posability. She's got the bendy toes. She's got the rocker ankle. Moves up and down. Calf spin. Double jointed knees. Thigh spin. Although this is a little different because this is actually molded instead of like a big ball joint. She's got actual legs that go up there. Weird. Double jointed elbows. Wrist that bends. She's got a spin up here at her glove. Little rotation point. Bicep rotation. Ball joint elbows. And her neck will turn a little up and down a little bit, but not a whole lot because of her hair. So, great looking figure. Really like this Kitty figure. Oh, she also has the ab crunch, of course. As far as the Toybiz figures go, this is one of the better sculpts I've seen they did back in the day. So, I'm pretty impressed. Pretty cool. Would I recommend getting this? Well, yeah, if you want a Kitty Pryde figure, she is definitely the way to go. This is, I would say, this out of all the Toybiz I've looked at, this is probably my favorite sculpt. I mean, this is great. This looks just like her. It's really cool. And it's a very unique sculpt. I really like it. And hey, you get Lockheed, so you can't go wrong there. Alright, so thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed this review. And thanks.